He looked me straight in the eyes, completely calm, and said, "It's my car. You're not entitled to it. How you get to work is your problem." And in that exact moment, something inside me snapped. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just, silently. Because that's when I realized. I wasn't his wife. I was just, someone paying his bills. And what he didn't know was. That sentence? It was the beginning of the end of everything he thought he owned. I didn't react right away. I just stood there, staring at him, trying to process how someone who once called me his everything could now talk to me like I was a burden. Or worse, a stranger. But the truth is, this didn't start with the car. The car was just the final crack. If you met us from the outside, you'd think we had it all figured out. He was successful. Confident. The kind of guy people respected instantly. And me? I worked hard. Independent. I had my own life before him. I even owned my own car before we met. I knew how to drive. I loved driving. It was freedom to me. And when we got married, I thought we were building a life together. But slowly, without me even realizing it, that together turned into his and mine. Here's the part that always sat wrong with me. But I kept convincing myself it was fine. We rented a place for £1,300. And every single month, I sent him £1,000. Straight into his account. He paid the remaining £300 plus bills. At first, I thought, okay, fair enough. But then I started thinking about it more. He earned 3 times more than me. 3 times more. And yet somehow, I was the one carrying most of the rent. His justification? I pay for the car. It's £700 a month. And I buy groceries. And every time I tried to explain how, mathematically, emotionally, logically, it didn't feel fair, that's when things would change. His tone would shift. His jaw would tighten. His voice would get louder. And then louder. Until it wasn't even a conversation anymore. It was intimidation. Sometimes he'd slam his hand on the table. Sometimes he'd punch the wall. Not me. But close enough to remind me he could. And every single time, I'd go quiet. Not because I agreed, but because I didn't feel safe enough to continue. Then came my new job. At first, everything was fine. I could commute by train most days. But a few times a month, I had to travel to another office. 2 hours by car. But by public transport? 5 hours. 5 trains. Buses. Waiting. Exhaustion. It wasn't just inconvenient, it was draining. So one evening, calmly, carefully, I said, "Hey, could you add me to the insurance? Just for those days. I'll only use the car when I really need it." He didn't even think about it. Just immediately. No. Why? It's a big car. Expensive. Hard to drive. I almost laughed. I used to own a car before we met. I'd been driving for years. Still no. You'll damage it. So I tried to meet him halfway. We can practice together on weekends. Still no. That's when his real answer came out. Just buy your own car. That was the first time it felt personal. Because it wasn't about the car anymore. It was about the fact that he had something that could make my life easier. Something he barely even used. And instead of helping me, he chose control. But what broke me? What really broke me? Was today. I asked one last time. Not begging. Not demanding. Just hoping. And that's when he said it. Cold. Sharp. Final. It's my car. You're not entitled to it. How you get to work is your problem. I didn't hear anything after that. Because suddenly, everything made sense. The rent. The money arguments. The shouting. The fear. It was never about fairness. It was about power. And I had been slowly, quietly, giving mine away. Crescent moon the night everything changed. That night. I didn't argue. I didn't cry in front of him. I didn't even respond. I just nodded. And went to bed. But I didn't sleep. Because for the first time in a long time, I wasn't thinking about how to fix things. I was thinking about how to leave. Over the next few days, I started noticing everything. Every transaction. Every expense. Every time I compromised. I opened my banking app. And just stared. £1,000. Every month. For a place that didn't even feel like home anymore. And suddenly it hit me. I wasn't stuck. I was just scared. Package the first step toward freedom. I started small. I found a new place. Nothing fancy. Just peaceful. Then I ran the numbers. And for the first time, I realized something shocking. If I stopped paying his rent, I could afford my own life. Comfortably. All this time, I thought I needed him. But the truth was, he needed me. I didn't announce it. I didn't threaten. I didn't give him the satisfaction of a warning. I just started moving. Quietly. Clothes first. Important documents. Small things he wouldn't notice. The day I told him, he was sitting on the couch. Relaxed. Comfortable. Confident. Like always. I'm leaving. He laughed. Actually laughed. Over a car? And that's when I said it. No. Not over a car. I looked him dead in the eyes. Over everything. The confidence cracked. Wait, what do you mean? I mean, I'm done paying for a life where I'm treated like I don't belong in it. Silence. I've already stopped the transfer. His face dropped. What? The rent. You can cover it now. Since it's your place, right? Suddenly, the man who used to shout couldn't even form a sentence. Wait, you're serious? For the first time, he looked unsure. The next few days were chaos. He called, texted, apologized, promised to fix things, offered to add me to the insurance, offered to work on communication. But it was too late. Because now I could see clearly. Those weren't solutions. They were panic. He didn't care when I was struggling. He didn't care when I was exhausted. He didn't care when I felt small. He only cared when it started affecting him. The day I left, there was no drama. No shouting. No tears. Just silence. But for the first time in a long time, it felt peaceful. A few weeks later, I bought my own car. Not a Mercedes. Not expensive. But mine. And when I sat in the driver's seat for the first time, I smiled. Because it wasn't just a car. It was proof that I never needed permission to live my own life. Sometimes, it's not the big betrayals that break you. It's the small moments where someone shows you exactly how little they value you. And once you see it clearly, there's no going back. If this story hit you even a little, make sure to hit that like button, thumbs up. And tell me in the comments, was she overreacting, or did she finally do the right thing? And of course, subscribe to Revenge_Ida 2.0 for more real, raw, and powerful stories like this. Because sometimes the best revenge is simply walking away.